And how about you?
I'm very good, very good. Home, isolated, inspired, trying to deal with this crazy situation.
Yeah, right. I'm so excited. Really a big honor to see you here. And thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's start. I can't wait your inspirational talk.
What?
Inspirational talk.
Oh, okay, okay. It's going to be a pleasure to share anything I can coming from my heart with all of you.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. It's kind of you.
It's really, really a pleasure. How do you want to handle it? You want to ask me questions? Or
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to my questions.
Perfect.
The first one. Okay. I want to start with the logo of Pepsi. The colors refers to the flag of the United States, and the curved lines display smiling, which is the result of pleasure. But I want to know how you insert these emotional issues to your packaging design.
Well, it's not an easy challenge. And look, when we do design for a brand, we look at the brand in all its aspects, in all its touch points. So to focus just on the packaging is like to talk with a stylist and ask a stylist to do the styling of a person, of you, for instance, or of me, just focusing on the shoes or on the watch and neglecting everything else. So what we try to do is to use every touch point of the brand, the product itself, so the design of the color, the fizzing, the color, the ingredients, the packaging, the normal packaging, the limited editions, and then events in the world of music or sport, fashion, art, design, collaborations in the world of fashion in terms of licensing. We just launched, for instance, recently a fashion collection with the Square. We did one with Puma. We did one with a variety of different major brands, Fila, Dolce Gabbana in the past, and many others. The world of digital. So what we do is to try to infuse the values of the brand, this idea of fun, of being timely in the moment, of enjoying that moment, and doing it with, a little bit between being rebel, but also, once again, having a lot of fun in that specific experience. We do it across all the different touch points. In the packaging specifically is a challenge because you need to balance a design that is timeless, that is iconic, that you don't get tired of, but then also you want to have that energy in the brand. One thing that we do on packaging is often, therefore, the limited editions. It could be for a specific period of the year, for instance, for Valentine or for the UEFA Champions League of soccer. It could be in partnership with an artist or a talent. For the UEFA Soccer Cup, for instance, we do always this can dedicated to soccer players like Messi, as an example. So there are different ways, and there's always, the fine balance between being iconic, classic, timeless, but then in the meantime, having the right energy and representing what the brand stands for.
Thank you. And are you open to any collaboration with young talented designer in your team?
Oh, absolutely. Look, we are a company of 265,000 people, $67 billion revenue, and we have just 250 designers in-house, spread in 15 different locations around the world. We are growing that team. So the first opportunity is to join the team. So to enter in the team in the company, our jobs are posted in multiple design sites. You can find them in LinkedIn, for instance. Right now, many of those jobs are, on hold because of the coronavirus situation. So we're trying to understand exactly how things will evolve, but we keep hiring. Or we work, we're just 250 designers, so we work with many external design firms, and we go from the big ones with hundreds of designers in-house all the way to the freelancers and the boutique design firms. And there are a variety of different ways to get to us, from writing directly to me, for instance, in sites like LinkedIn or Instagram, all the way, or to my team, my direct reports that are managing the different projects. They're probably more into the projects than me directly. But then, that's one approach, but we receive tons of emails, tons of requests. So you can imagine that it's difficult to filter out. Another approach is the one of being out there and do projects, do things, eventually inspired by Pepsi, eventually inspired by something else that has nothing to do with our company. Maybe is a value that you think is relevant to me or to a leader or to the company, and sharing this work. Because it's different to receive, an email very long with all the things that the design firm does, and we receive so many of these emails, versus somebody sending you one project, one image that is very powerful and is really very relevant to you. And you're like, wow, this person is talented. It happened to me, for instance, in the past few days. I created this hashtag, Design Against the Virus, mostly for me to monitor everything the designers are doing, from graphic designers to architects to product designers, to react to the virus, to help with devices, with masks, with filters, or in communication, for information or for inspiration. So I'm seeing work of these designers, and it's a beautiful way for me to also spot talented designers. And when we'll have a project in the future, we may go eventually to the talented designer that didn't pitch, the job to PepsiCo, just did something amazing for the design community, for the world, show his talents and his skills, and got noticed by people, in this case, because that person did something that was relevant to me, using my hashtag and knowing that I care about that kind of work. So that could be a way to reach people and be noticed.
Yeah, it's easy and very perfect way to communicate with Pepsi.
Yeah.
Great. Could you please describe how startups can promote their brands? I mean, what are the steps?
Well, so it's not easy, obviously, because there are so many startups out there around the world. I think today we have an opportunity that we never had before, and is the one of the social media platforms. So the first thing to do is to be present online, in the right channels for the work that you do. So that for some startups, Instagram is better than LinkedIn. For some others, LinkedIn is better. Probably the ideal approach is to use all of them, because each of them has a different kind of target audience, interested in different things that you can offer with your organization. So being out there, but how do you use these platforms, this media? I think is a mix of showing the work that you do, but then always have a point of view. Show that you're smart, that you understand what's going on, you observe reality, you're curious. So it's a mix of your project, but presented in a relevant way for the potential target audience. So you need to understand who you're communicating to, what is important to them, and then also showing that somehow you connect your work to real problems in the society, real needs, what's going on out there. It's also interesting, there are other platforms of communication like conferences. A lot of people from companies or investors or leaders in general, they go to conferences of innovation, of design, of marketing, and to be there in two roles. One, ideally, if you can present, you have an interesting idea, you go there, you present it in these stages. Sometimes it's just a conference. Sometimes you have then the possibility to create a video and share it once again in your social media. But presenting for sure is a way to showcase your ideas and your startup to people interested in that kind of topic. But then even if you don't present, be there and network, connect with people. God knows how many partners, designers that I've been working with in the past years, I met at conferences. Because you're there, you know that the people interested in your kind of work is physically there. And if you show in those conversations that you are an interesting person, that you have interesting ideas, that you have an interesting point of view, then the people will remember you when they need you. But another important thing is not to do just that during the conference. If you create the connection, then follow up. But follow up in a nice way, in an elegant way, not bombarding the person with emails, but, you know, eventually sharing interesting information, interesting material. So this will be a very interesting way to get as much visibility as possible with the right target audience, both for the startup and then for your previous question, for the people searching for collaborations or for a job. I think it's very important the ability to be synthetic, not to be too long. Sometimes I receive these messages in LinkedIn or by email that are really, really long. And if you don't know the person and you have many of them, you're not going to read. You know, it's too much. To do that, you know, if you consider hundreds of emails like this every day, to do that will mean to spend the entire day reading emails instead of working. So you understand how, you know, how to be synthetic, to summarize, to identify the key points, and eventually to use visual, and as designers where you should be good at using visual, is the best way to communicate directly or with a mass audience.
Thank you very much for the complete answer.
Welcome.
Okay. In 2025, do you think what will be the preferences of people by changing technology and ecology and some others?
Look, the world is evolving very rapidly, and we see a variety of different trends that are really clear. One is sustainability, and in some countries more than others, I think this virus is showing us that we need to have a different approach with the planet. You know, we see the planet finally breathing. You know, there is no pollution in many cities. There is animals back in the cities, fishes back in the waters of Venice or Sardinia and many other places around the world. So I think this virus is accelerating even more the realization that we need to be more respectful of the environment. So this was a trend that was already going on. Our CEO, Ramon Laguarta in PEPSICO, is really focused on this idea of sustainability. We're investing heavily in a variety of different ways: materials, recycling, alternative solutions that don't use bottles or cans or at all. So there are many things that we're doing, but I see for the first time, I saw last year a movement of many companies finally, you know, more serious around sustainability. So that's interesting. Health and wellness as well. And I think once again, this virus will accelerate that need. You know, through a virus that is attacking our body, we are realizing that we need to immunize ourselves. We need to defend ourselves with the right eating and drinking habits. And so more and more, you know, the world will go in that direction. We started many years ago, more than 20 years ago, differentiating our portfolio. We'll keep doing it in the coming years. We need the society to follow, to do it, to embrace that kind of lifestyle, and that will allow us to accelerate even more. So I see that as a trend for sure. Technology will help us in a lot to customize solutions for us from any standpoint. In food and beverage, that means that more and more we'll be able to really create the perfect drinks or the perfect food for what our body needs and for what we need, you know, emotionally. So the right flavors because we like it, and then the right ingredients because we need it. So customization of food will be key. But this is true in every industry: customization of cars, shoes, clothing, and, you know, in many different ways. And then customization of services. If you think, for instance, about the automation and in new technologies in the world of automotive, we'll have cars that understand us, understand other cars around us, understand how to protect us, so safety, how to inform us, infotainment. So technology customized on the basis of your needs, even in the case of an experience like driving a car or going to a store or to a movie theater.
Agree. Right. Really complete answer. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, let's go back to previous years. Pepsi has been always producing carbonated soft drinks until a few years ago, but once the company changed its strategy and invested in some other products such as water, juice, and others, what was the point that Pepsi took this big risk?
Well, it was the vision of Indra Nui, our former CEO, and also people before her. The company started actually years ago, more than 20 years ago, investing, differentiating the portfolio. The acquisitions, for instance, of Quaker Oats, Gatorade, Tropicana, they're all the acquisitions. And then in the past few years, we've been accelerating more and more. So first of all was the vision of leaders of this company that understood that we needed to diversify. We needed to have a portfolio that was covering from what we used to call good for you, good products, healthy products for you, all the way to what we call fun for you, indulgent products that you still want to have. I mean, you want to have a future where you can still eat a little bit of chocolate, have a soda, have a cake or a candy. But then you also want to make sure that you have the right balance, you know, in your food and beverage. You get healthy stuff. And on top of it, that you work out, that you have a healthy lifestyle. It's all connected with each other, right? And it's all about, once again, balance. So it's a journey that started years ago. Now it's accelerating exponentially at the speed of light. And more we'll keep investing in a diversified portfolio that give you the possibility of choosing. And then it's very important that families and schools and then governments, you know, around them as enablers, focus on education of people. Because, you know, good eating, good drinking is connected to a good lifestyle. So it's all about the perfect balance between getting what you need, mix with what you like and what you enjoy, with the right balance between indulgence and functional ingredients, and then a healthy lifestyle and working out and putting everything together. If you do that, then you can eat, you know, many things and you can have a lot of fun.
Thank you. Coronavirus was an unpredictable situation, and many have missed their job, and some companies went bankrupt. From the point of view, what is the strategy, a good strategy, I mean, for a company to overcome the falling sale rates, especially the food and beverage industries?
Yeah. Well, it's an extremely difficult situation, very sad, and it's difficult. And there are a few levers that are not accessible to everybody, but it's the first thing everybody should think of. The first thing is, can I translate my business in a digital e-commerce kind of business where there is not contact? Even if I'm a restaurant, can I do delivery? Can I offer this kind of service in a different way? I saw something, for instance, I saw there is in some cities in Italy, there is now this truck, this ape truck of restaurants that go, you know, around the city and they offer the food to buy to the different residents in the city. So it's still delivery, but it's very ingenious because they created the design of the truck. It's very nice, it's beautiful, there is the branding. They go there, eventually they can even cook in front of the people and then deliver to them in a touchless way, you know, with distance. So, you know, first of all, you go there, you try to figure out that. If it's not possible for your business, then it's complicated, obviously. What I will do, at least I will try to work on my brand. You know, if I cannot get revenue and this is a disaster, at least can I make sure that my brand, who I am as a company, as a restaurant or whatever I am, is relevant. So if I'm a restaurant doing classes of cooking online, or interacting with with the customers in a variety of different ways. So making sure that you can offer value in this moment so that you keep your brand awareness high, you add brand love on top of the awareness because people will appreciate what you're doing. And as soon as we are out of the crisis, you will have all these people, the benefit of, you know, of your insights, of your time, of your resources, giving back. I'm sure, you know, they will come back to your restaurant, they will come back to your business, and they will buy from you. So, you know, even if you have revenue generation on hold because you can't do much, is there any way to acquire new customers when you are ready to start again, so that eventually you can fill the gap with additional revenue driven by these new customers that you conquer, that you gain in this way? But yeah, it's a tough situation, and I feel really, you know, sorry for the people who are going through this in this moment.
Thank you. Hope to defeat this coronavirus.
Oh yes.
And back to previous days. Could you please suggest some useful books for branding and design strategies and some other topics?
Yeah, well, I could go on with a long list, but a few that are, I think, really interesting. One is Overcrowded. Overcrowded, of Roberto Verganti. Roberto wrote, there is another one that he wrote before, so if you want, you can buy both. They're both interesting. The first one was Design-Driven Innovation, and then he wrote Overcrowded. One is published by the MIT Press, and the other one by Harvard Business Press. And essentially, they talk about the value of design in this society, how you can create, you can innovate, leveraging what we call design or design thinking to create meaningful solutions for people and generate also business. And now you can translate that into something that the business world understands. So how you can sell also that idea to the business world. One that is a little bit older, but is a very interesting Bible for driving brands, building brands, I really, really loved many years ago, is Love Marks of Kevin Roberts. Used to be the CEO of Saatchi & Saatchi. So Love Marks, Kevin Roberts. He wrote other books after, but I think that one is really, you know, an interesting one. There is another one that I wrote the back cover praise for, that is very interesting. It's called The Physics of Brands. And this is really focused on brands. One of the authors is Aaron Keller, Physics of Brands, Aaron Keller. And that's a very interesting one. And then I'll leave you with one that is more inspirational, that many people already read for sure. But if you didn't do it, is the biography of Steve Jobs. And it really, you know, when I finished the book, I was like, my God, I want to change the world. You know, it's so inspiring what the man was able to do, how he lost the company created, and he went out to create another big one, Pixar, and then he came back and he saved Apple from bankruptcy and took it to where it is today. My God, I mean, you read that and you read how he did it and what he did, and you're really excited and you want to apply it in your life.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask you a short question. Please describe yourself in 3 words.
Curious, resilient, and optimist. There are 3 very important characteristics, I think, for innovators. Curiosity gives you the ability to investigate the world, to listen to people, to read books, you know, trying to learn, to talk with people, trying to learn, to travel and observing the world around you, trying to learn. So essentially help you understanding that your master degree, university, is not the end of your studies, it's actually the beginning of a lifelong journey of learning and studying. Resilience is what you need because if you are trying to change anything, because if you are trying to change anything and drive innovation, you will find closed doors every single day. If you don't, you're not changing anything. So if you do, you need resilience to go against those doors and try to open them, and you will smash your face against the door many times, and you need resilience to keep going. And then the last, optimism. If you're not optimistic, then you give up because it's difficult, and you need that passion inside, that optimism that keep you going all the time, combined with your resilience and your curiosity.
Thank you. And your last sentence, it can be a piece of advice or anything you want.
Well, this virus is giving to many of us time back. We have time back, even if we're working from home, like in my case, but I don't go out at night, or I have, the time of my commuting back. So many of us are lucky, extremely lucky, because at least we have time back. So in this time, what do? We can use it to invest this time in a positive way, and we should. So what is, for me, investing time in a positive way? There are three dimensions. One is investing time in your loved ones. So your family, eventually if you're living with somebody, you have time. I have time back with my fiance to have lunch together. We never had lunch together every day. So enjoy the moment, your kids, your family. The second one is invest in others that are less lucky than you. People that are alone at home, people that are sick, people that are on the front line and they feel, tired, alone, destroyed sometimes emotionally and physically. So show to them that you're there, that you are supporting them in a variety of different ways, directly and indirectly. And finally, invest on yourself. So you have time back, how you're using that time to grow yourself, to become a better person, to become a better professional, to become a better designer. I'm writing my book. I'm reading a lot of other books, and I'm painting again and drawing as I didn't do for many, many years. So I want to get out of this crisis as a better designer and a better person. And that is my way to beat this virus. We don't control many things. We don't control what this virus is doing to the society, to our jobs, and to many people that are dying or are in deep, sacrifice because of it. But we do control how we use our time and what is going to happen to us. And so let's invest in becoming better people and better designers. And that's our way to beat the coronavirus.
Thank you very much. It was really inspirational talk. It was perfect, and I enjoyed a lot.
Thank you.
And hope to get an opportunity to talk with you again in the future.
For sure. It was a pleasure to connect with you, and thanks for everybody who's been listening to us today. Thank you. Be safe. Stay inspired. Ciao.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.